What's good, Toxic Regime? ToxicSight here, back again with part number 2 of the Paladin Support loadout and abilities help videos. In the last video we talked about Furia and her viability in comp. Now we're gonna move on into Grohk. We are gonna do all the supports in order. So Furia, Grohk, Grover, Genos, Damba, Pip, Ceres, Ying. I thought there was somebody in between Ceres and Ying, but oh well. So we're gonna go into Grohk. Grohk is not comp viable solo heal. Now, whenever I say solo heal, 2 healers is not meta. 2 healers sometimes gets an easier win than solo heal. But in my personal opinion, and all these videos are my personal opinion, so don't go telling somebody, oh, well, Toxic says that Grohk can't isn't a good healer in comp. He's really not by far, because you have to be in his totem range to get healed. Unlike Ying, you have to be in range of her illusions, which she can put multiple down. Furia, if she sees you, she can heal you. If her beam hits you, if you're using Solar Blessing, it'll heal you. Grover, he can heal you through walls. Genos, heal you through walls. Pip, throw a potion at you, so on and so forth. Damba is the least comp viable support in my opinion. He is good. I do like playing as him at times. We'll get into his abilities. Maelstrom, your weapon shots reduce the cooldown of Shock Pulse by 0.3 seconds, and Shock Pulse bounces 4 more times. Spirit's Domain, healing totems can now deploy at range, and healing done to full health players becomes a shield. Totemic Ward, allies healed by healing totem receive CC immunity for 2 seconds, and healing totem heals for 40% more. Wraith, when you take lethal damage, Ghost Walk activates and heals you for 15% of your maximum health. In my personal opinion, Wraith is pointless, because once you take that lethal damage and go into Ghost Walk only lasts for so long and you come out of it. Yes, you heal for 15% of your max, but you're already at lethal point, plus 15% is not going to let you survive many bullets. Now, there is a loadout. I'm not going to build this loadout because Wraith is, in my opinion, his worst talent. There is a loadout that you gain health while you're in Ghost Walk, and your Ghost Walk duration is increased. But you're supposed to be the healer of the team. You're not gonna benefit from rejuve like that. So, and plus you would have to be in your totem's area, but if you've taken lethal damage and you're near your totem's probably gone. But anyway, so next is Spirit's Domain. Healing totem can now deploy at range, and healing done to full health players becomes a shield. While it sounds good that it becomes a shield, your full health plus healing becomes a shield, and you can deploy it at range. Again, that shield's not going to be very much, and if you're really to the point that you're already at full health, why are you standing in the totem? Why aren't you going to fight? Yada yada yada. Unless the totem's on the cap point and y'all aren't fighting anybody. But then again, that should only be the tank and the healer there at that time. The damages and flanks should be out trying to stop people from getting to you, even at a little range, not all the way. But anyways, his next is the best, top 2 in my opinion. Maelstrom, your weapon shots reduce the cooldown of Shock Pulse by 0.3 seconds, and Shock Pulse bounces 4 more times. That's a damage build. And Totemic Ward, allies healed by healing totem receive CC immunity for 2 seconds, and it heals for 40% more. That CC immunity for 2 seconds, while 2 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, if you time it right and drop your healing totem wherever that CC is going to hit, it prevents Drogos' ult, it prevents Khan's ult, it prevents people being affected by Tyra's cripple part of Burn Monster, it prevents being targeted by Victor's ult, it prevents, well heck, y'all know what? Let me select it. I'll go over the loadout here in a second. It prevents Bomb King from stunning people. If you time that one's really hard to time because you have to time it right whenever he gets to y'all. Within 2 seconds of him hitting y'all. Cassie, it prevents her from revealing y'all, which I mean if you're doing it to people, they know where you are. Jurgos, it prevents his ult from hitting anybody, you have to do it right at the right time. It prevents Eevee's slow effect of her ult, they will still take the damage, but the slow part is null and void. You are Grohk, so that ult's pointless. That doesn't damage. It prevents Inara's stun if you time it right before her spear hits the ground. Geno's ult, you're still gonna get hit. Khan's ult, already said. Theirs is just damage, not CC. It prevents Mei from putting them in the can't see. It prevents the blindness. Dom, it prevents the fear. Moji, it prevents the cracker, the polymorph, the grab, the blindness, the uppercut, the blasting away, the targeting, and it prevents him from being able to lock on. So if you time it right, I mean it's all about timing with that move, with that talent. With this talent, it's all about timing to give him the 2 seconds of CC immunity. The loadout for it, in my opinion, would be increase duration of healing totem by 3 seconds due to the fact that they get 40% extra healing. Increase the area of healing totem, the area that it covers, by 40%. Increase your base maximum HP by 300. Ghost Walk lowers the cooldown of healing totem by 2 seconds when activated. And hitting a champion with Shock Pulse heals you for 30. You could lower this down to 1 for 1 second. And up this to level 2 for 60% or 60 health. Or up this to 5. That doesn't really have to be at 2 for the 2 seconds. So his abilities, Lightning Staff, a medium range staff that creates a channel beam of lightning dealing 75 damage per hit every 0.1 seconds. The lightning staff recharges when not firing. His right click shock pulse fires a projectile that deals 150 damage and bounces between 4 enemy players. His Q is healing totem. Deploy a totem with 1000 health that heals nearby allies for 420 health every second and lasts 6 seconds. Ghost Walk is F, become untargetable and gain 20% movement speed for 1 second. Removes all debuffs on use. Debuffs are burning from Nando, crippled if you can, well it doesn't work in crippled because you can't use his Ghost Walk. Slowed by Anar without cripple, or the fire without burn monster, or Damba's gourd that it will cover over whenever we get to Maldamba. The slowness, it cures the fire, it cures any damage over time. The poison from Sky that will cover whenever we get to flanks. It cures pretty much any damage over time or any movement stuff, which is great. Which loadout? Oh, we're doing healing. That's the range. Wow, I can't even. Oh, there it is. That's the range of healing totem. Right there on the ground. It does only last 6 seconds. This is his lightning. What's it called? Lightning staff. It does burn out faster than Nando's does, but that's its damage. It melts people. Oops. This is Shock Pulse. It shoots something that bounces between things. It's not all that strong in other loadouts, because it only does the 150 damage and only bounces like hold on, how many times was that? Hold on, I need all 3 of them to be selectable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only bounces 5 times by default. Ghost Walk, I need to back out. Like, here's you normally. Ghost Walk, it doesn't last long at all, which is why I was saying Wrath taking lethal damage, Ghost Walk activates. It doesn't last long whatsoever. And his ult, surge with power for 3 seconds, slowing and striking 2 nearby enemies at a time for 200 damage, and speeding up and healing yourself and 2 nearby allies for 500 seconds every 0.5 seconds. So basically what it's saying is it deals 200 damage for 3 seconds. So they're really taking 600 damage over the entire course of the time, and slowing 2 nearby enemies. And then it's healing you and 2 other allies for 500 health every 0.5 seconds for the 3 seconds. So they're really getting healed for 3,000 health in that whole 3 seconds. If no enemies are doing damage to them, it'll get most of the champions other than tanks up to full health. And this is what it looks like. Oh no, it does more than... Wait, let me rebuild it. I think that just did more damage than... Okay, hold on. No, it does the same thing. It does the 200 damage every half a second. I didn't realize that, so that makes his ult even better, in my opinion. But, so that's his ward loadout. The items you want to go with for ward is, Cauterize. He could go Wrecker since his is a continuous beam. Kill to heal, because his rejuve will not, from other players, his rejuve will not work on him himself. I would go Chronos to get your totem back faster, or morale boost, because he already moves decently fast. I mean, you could get nimble if you absolutely wanted to, but morale boost or Chronos are his best options. And then this is the same every single time. You are a support that is on point. You are one of the two. Yeah, one of the 2 supports that are on point. So Illuminate's not really your best friend. Because if the sky's that close to you, your tanks and everybody else are probably melting. But, so, it's all, the blues, I'm not going to go over the blues anymore for any of the champions from here on out, because they're all game situational. So I'm just going to cover the utility, healing, and offense. Like I said, morale booster Chronos, kill to heal, and then Wrecker or Caught, preferably Caught. But let's go into his other one, which I said is Maelstrom. Your weapon shots reduce the cooldown and shock pulse by 0.3 seconds, and shock pulse bounces 4 more times. The Maelstrom loadout, because this is strictly for damaging. The bounce range of shock pulse is increased by 48%. Regenerate ammo 24% faster. Allies inside your healing totem are healed for 1% of their maximum health per second. Hitting a champion with shock pulse heals you for 150 and recharge 18% of your ammo for every unique enemy hit with shock pulse. So your lightning staff is still the same, but you do recharge a whole lot faster. Your ghost walk is still the same. Your healing totem circle is a lot smaller. It still lasts for the same amount. The biggest difference is shock pulse, and then as you hit enemies with your lightning staff, it reduces the cooldown. So this build, you lay your totem down, and then you go to town, blasting. And you just go to town, wailing into people with your shock orb and your his biggest issue is actually hitting his shock orb, or what is it called, shock pulse? Yeah, his shock pulse. Like you can tell, I can hit it all day, every day here. It just, whenever you have moving targets. A lot of people say that running totem, running either one of the, running ward basically, gives Grohk the ability to play as a tank. So you can really go 2 tanks in him and have 3 technical tanks. I don't see him being that viable as a tank. They mainly say it because he can stand there with the tanks and heal himself and everything, and he won't have to really worry because he heals himself with his totem, and he can pop out damage along with the tanks to keep the point. But yeah, like I was saying, with this build, with Maelstrom, the item purchasing, same thing. Caught mainly because you're popping damage out to a lot of people. Still kill to heal because rejuve won't affect you. Same thing, Chronos. You don't really need Chronos that often with this build because Shock Pulse gets recharged super fast, but Morale boost to Chronos, and then, like I said, I'm not going to cover defense anymore. That's going to do it for Grohk. Until next time, be good to yourself, be good to your loved ones, and I will see you next time. Bye.